Hmm? I I can't even find this one, Pika. You're supposed to do these show notes before the show. That's why they call them show notes, not like showing up empty-handed. Oh, hi, we're rolling. I can't find this. Uncanny X-Men, issue number 5. Issue 5, issue 5, issue 4, issue 4, issue 5, Uncanny X-Men. Titled Uncanny X-Men. This is going to take a little while. Hi! Welcome to the show. How are you? We need some more coffee. Oh, for Pete's sake.
20 minutes, counting down.
Thank you, Siri. I'm literally surrounded by comic books. I'm feeling ganged up on. But it's a good practical exercise for stress and anxiety and panic. Hey everyone, welcome back. It's time once again for the Comics Coffee Table. Pull up a chair. Bring a cuppa. Bring a friend. Take a break. Leave the problems of the real world over there for a couple of minutes. We're at the coffee table now. Pull up a chair. Let's take a break together. Talk about comic books. Talk about the good things. How are you today? Where are those show notes? Pika makes show notes. He is our executive producer. Drinka is our camera and boom mic operator. Union. He's on his union break. And I, from our filmed live before Stuffed Animals here in our Boston studios. And hello, welcome back once again. I'm blessed and pleased to see you all here. I've returned to my regular work week, so let's see how many live chats I can make going forward. And I was on a semester break, so I had plenty of opportunity to hang in the live chat. And if I miss you, then I'm there in spirit, and I'll catch up with you on the replay and in the comments. But keep those comments coming. The coffee table is where my friends would congregate. There would always be a conversation going on. We're trying to, there's something to eat, something to drink, an ashtray to dump out. It was a while ago, huh? And there was always a stack of movies, a stack of music, and a stack of books, and specifically a stack of comic books. And we were always trying to turn each other on to reading something. And I intend to carry that spirit on. I have boxes, as you might as well, long boxes full of comic books that are in different states, and they need new bags, new boards, and they do need new boxes. So I am taking this show to take stock of my collection, to value what I have, to grade them in a way, in a learning and unprofessional way, like just as a fan of our hobby. I got these 2 books given to me by my parents for Christmas. This season is dedicated to my parents, my mom and my stepdad, Hoppy Poppy. I love you guys. Thank you. And we're going to learn how to grade comic books, like things to look out for. Especially if you're buying back issues. There are things you should be looking for and being like, hey, is this really worth $16? Did you see this staple? We're arming ourselves with that kind of know-how right here and right now. And this is the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide, the 52nd edition, most current one. And these are great resources. There are links to their Amazon pages in the description. If you would like your own copy, you can play along at home. Seriously. And you could also be living the mission of our show, which is to go to our local comic book shops and spend money there. Yes! Redistribute your wealth through a sense of equity by choice. And I am redistributing my personal wealth, my disposable income, at my comic book shop where it's needed the most. These brick and mortar stores, when they're gone, they're gone. And they'll go the way of the record store or the candy store. There will always be boutiques, here and there. But the direct market, as we know it, is changing. And the format, the medium of this entertainment, the floppy could be changing as well. And this is not even 100 years old. This medium. I mean, this first started in about 100 years ago. We've had a crash course in comics history. There are comic books, the first superhero comic book. There were comic books before that, leading up to Action Comics #1, 1938, which started off the Golden Age and started off this American pantheon, this new mythology of the superhero. It's weird. It's like because it doesn't there's no religious attachment to it or affiliations really on a surface level. There are archetypical layers. Sure. I mean, this could be the Egyptians or the Greeks, or the Romans, or the Hindus, or the Vikings, or the Celts, or any of these wonderful, just mythologies of these archetypes of gods and goddesses at play and at war, and in love, and just yeah, and such that the story keeps going, and let's keep those comic book stores going too. I'm not going to be buying my supplies from the online supply chain. I'm going to go and get my short boxes. I'm migrating from a long box to a short box. They get heavier the older I get. So I'm buying my boxes there. I'm buying my bags and my acid-free boards. And I should have been using boards all this time. I mean, I regret not doing that. I mean, it was a little lazy. But you know what? We're going to do the best of what we can do with what we got and go forward. Congratulations. You're a human. Let's get to it. So yeah, I'm surrounded and mobbed by these X-Men comics recently. I haven't even really scratched the surface of my long boxes yet. A lot of these things are just... I'm starting to attack a bit of my spinner rack. My spinner rack is out in the living room. There's enough going on here that I don't need my spinner rack. I mean, it's not the white one with the placard on top. I wanted that one. That one's that one's really expensive. So I've got some kind of modern magazine stand. I think it costs less than $300, but it's got 4 sides, and it spins, hence a spinner rack, and it looks great. And I keep it furnished with the comics of. I'm trying to go for a nostalgic thing, and maybe some new releases as well too. But I'm in the process right now of redoing everything on my spinner rack first. So we'll put things into boxes, and we're going to prioritize, and then we'll get to the Crisis long box. I'm also going to lug upstairs the Marvel long boxes and the Image long box. I got an Image long box. It's about 1/5 to 1/4 Walking Dead trade paperbacks. Really, I used to have like the first 2 phone book size omnibuy. Oh wow! I mean, those are just. I lent one out and didn't get it back. I know what happened to that one. He died. My best work friend. We know that story. Yeah, that was over at his place when he had that for 3 years. Like, oh, I always meant to bring back your comic book. I bet you'll be waiting. You'll have it for me on the other side, won't you, jerk? But yeah, I want to talk about the X-Men some more. Do you want to talk about the X-Men with me? One's in the chat if you want to talk X-Men with me. Okay, so we've been talking about the X-Men. Yeah, I mean, I love the X-Men. I finished yesterday's episode by saying that I object to any one vulnerable, marginalized group trying to claim ownership onto the X-Men. No, the X-Men are for all misfits. I was an X-Men growing up in my mind space. I was one of the New Mutants. I was I was gifted. I was an only child. Where do you hang out in your headspace, your headcanon, your fanfic? I mean, where does that come from? Between the panels, between the issues, between the lines, where you hang out, and you're an active participant in your imagination in these stories. Going back to childhood, and when you're reading these, and how you identify and you fit in the story. How I felt more at home at Xavier's Institute for Gifted Youngsters than I did at the Hall of Justice. And because it was about the balance of young people and mentors, and there was a clash there was a simple clash of ideology, and that it was between Charles and Magneto, and it was fun when it was simple. I mean, and really inclusive. I think modern X-Men is really exclusive these days. And modern X-Men, it's really interesting. They've kind of, they're trying to do something new. Sure, I mean this iteration of the X-Men, the giant-sized all-new X-Men. That was 1975. First appearance of Storm, first appearance of Colossus, first appearance of Nightcrawler. Wolverine debuted technically in Hulk 180, but his first issue was the famous Hulk number 181, and that was Wolverine's first big appearance. But yeah, there's just X-Men has at least it went off to do something completely different and completely new. And as a longtime fan, I know this. It has to eventually come back and return to form. It really does. I read X-Men, so let's say I'm using X-Men 170 as a touchstone. I wish I had it. I don't. But in lieu of that, I have X-Men 199. Which is most definitely, I know, was in my wheelhouse. And I was pretty much steady on until, and I was into it beforehand too, but I got pretty monthly from about 170 to about Fall of the Mutants. And then I kind of just are you putting 3 issues in here? You mad Irish bastard. Well, I'm yanked. I play an Irishman on television. I did. I put 3. Well, because I don't know. And maybe I can. I know I've looked all of these up. These are $3.99 cover price. This is Astonishing XMen Exogenesis. Astonishing X-Men was a title that happened during the age of Apocalypse, and then it became the Joss Whedon flagship. Joss Whedon, John Cassaday, right after Grant Morrison. Astonishing X-Men was a really awesome, well-written by Joss Whedon himself, the creator of Buffy. Let's see, Marvel Fandom, Exogenesis, Volume 1. And this was Warren Ellis and Carrie Andrews. Carrie Andrews draws very voluptuous, curvy, thick women. That was his big thing, and Warren Ellis. We need to have more episodes. We need to talk about Warren. We need to have a talk. We need to talk about Warren Ellis and what he owes people. All I know is that I followed a lot of that early in the 21st century. And Exogenesis, this came out July 2010. So yeah, about 2009 Warren Ellis did these Astonishing XMen Ghost Boxes, and this was like one of the first times outside of Ultimate Comics that they were playing with multiverse. I found it in here. I was like, hey, Pika, where? Of course, it wasn't under X. It was under A. Astonishing XMen. There were a few. That's the Whedon Cassaday run, and this is Ghost Boxes. This is from December 2008, January 2009. $3.99 each. They are worth $4 each. But it's actually really good stories. I mean, it's about kind of brings up multiverse, and this is a limited series, one of two. It's like a Simone Bianchi cover art, wonderful, good stuff. What is a ghost box? Well, it opens the door to like different parallel Marvel Earths, where they come across different iterations of themselves. The best part was like a steampunk. There was like a steampunk version of the X-Men that was really cool, and that was like back when steampunk. There was a steampunk heyday in the late aughts, and I think Warren Ellis is a fabulous X-Men writer and a fabulous Marvel writer. And I think he needs to be doing his job and writing comic books. I wish he would do like Kickstarters or Indiegogos. You know what I mean? He definitely could pull that off. I mean, there is a structure for that out there now. I mean, I get plenty of crowdfunded comic books by disgraced former creators of the past, era, that are been blackballed from mainstream comics. I mean, Warren Ellis remains unhireable until he atones for his sins against womankind. He chased groupies. He was a rock star, and he had groupies on the road. At home, though, he had a common law wife, and they were raising a teenage daughter. I knew this then. I know that now. Any human that would have consent to having a physical relationship, or even any kind of relationship with Mr. Ellis, would have known that fact, that he had a wife and a family, a wife and daughter, a wife and kid at home, that he had a home life. So what would be your expectation? But I digress. And so my X-Men, it was Fall of the Mutants came about. There's going to be another Fall of the Mutants, I heard. Well, there's currently another freaking Inferno right now, too. And it's going on with clones of Peter Parker and Fall of the Mutants. This is I really have learned to trust this MarvelFandom.com wiki. This is really, it's deadly. They do release date, cover date, cover art. Here we go. Yeah, it's all right. So let's say that my run was huge between X-Men 170 and 225, which was January of 1998, and it was one of the last books that Ann Nocenti was editing as well. Ann Nocenti did Follow the Mutants. And just want to get an exact number here, because it's when she starts. It goes from Ann Nocenti to like 4 different editors, and then Bob Harris takes over. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. I really do. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Yeah, the Nocenti era ends at issue 232. And that is cover date of August of 1998. So basically, I kind of unconsciously signed off when Ann Nocenti signed off. And interesting. Yeah, so then I came back. Yeah, so I had a lapse. That was my first X-Men lapse. So I've had this on again, off again in love with the X-Men since I was a kid. There was New Mutants. I mean, there was New Mutants too, yeah. But New Mutants were the kids and of the Xavier team. They're their own thing. I don't have any New Mutants, to be honest with you. And I was really big into them growing up, at that time as well. They were like parallel titles. The New Mutants comic was a. Oh, I hear you. Yeah, they're just giving me the crappy movie New Mutants. It was in the Marvel original graphic novel number 4 in 1982. I remember that. And oh wow! And then came a monthly comic book after that. But so yeah, I was knee deep as a kid, but for about 4 or 5 years. I came back with I came back for Extinction Agenda, and I remained on with X-Men Volume 2, number 1, Jim Lee, the famous one, and up to Fatal Attractions, and I got off at Onslaught. And that was, I believe, 1996. So I had about a 3-year break between Fall of the Mutants and Extinction Agenda. And then Onslaught came in, in 1996. And that's where I got off the boat. I was like, I'm not feeling it. I'm really I didn't really, I just wasn't really into it. And I took a break. And then I came back again in 2001 with Grant Morrison's New X-Men. And I stayed tuned until the end of that. When Chuck Austin took over, not so much. And I took another hiatus. And then started coming back in 2009 on the sides, 2013, 2012 as well, with the when Brian Michael Bendis took over X-Men. I mean, that's a real mixed bag. I mean, people either like it, or they really hate it. But I got this specifically. This is from 2012. There, I've already Pika looked this one up already too. They're just worth their cover price of $3.99. Oop. Where is the Indicia? Where is the Indicia? Where is the Indicia colophone? Indicia colophone. Oh, good. Now, this was one thing I like about the Marvel Innovations was a primer page. It gives you an info dump. Especially if you're a new reader, you can just jump right in. This was a new arc. So this was Uncanny X-Men number 7, August of 2013. So, this was summer of 2013. This is 10 years ago. This is a decade old. Yeah. So we got issues 5, 6, and 7. And this is about the renegade X-Men team at the time, captained by Cyclops and his lover, Emma Frost. Something that was brought in during the 2001. Grant Morrison breaks up Jean Grey and Scott Summers. He cheats on her. Wow. Yeah. There's some dings, these corners. But overall, though, these comics are pristine. They're really good. But this, this was kind of like written for the trade. This was like a 3-issue arc. And if you look at it, too, 3 issues, 3 acts. It's got a simple structure. I don't hate Bendis. I mean, he annoys me in places. But overall, I was a fan of Bendis, especially the early stuff. Yet definitely not his DC stuff. I mean, some people are... Jeff Johns, you're the DC guy. Brian Michael Bendis, you're the Marvel dude. I mean, that's my call. I'm making that call, and I stand by it. Oh no, Did you pin the pages up? Maybe I can like sell this for like, $10, $15. Maybe, you think? I mean, they're $5. These were $3.99. No, these are $3.99. So this would be $12 to recoup, I guess. I don't know though. We'll find out, won't we? When we start offering these things to people. And I've saved all my Gemini mailers from my from the crowdfunding I've done, because they're going to get repurposed. I'm going to use them for something like this. So yeah, if you're interested in this really awesome, I got this specifically for Fraser Irving's art. He draws, he pencils his own, he inks his own stuff. It's spooky. He does magic and spooky so very well. And I'm a big fan of Fraser Irving's art. So I got it specifically for Fraser Irving, not Bendis, and because Bendis was also writing the other X-Men title at the time. He took the original 5 X-Men as teenagers, brought them out of time and into the now, gave them new costumes, made one of them gay. Modernity! It'll solve everything. Oh man. You know what? There you go. You got to keep Bobby Drake. We have to hey, listen. Bobby Drake, Tim Drake, just you can't unring that bell. Sorry. Sorry. You got to let him keep him. Yeah, sorry. Dude, do you want to look like you look bad if you want to take you gotta give you gotta let your kid brother win here and there. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that at this point. I mean, was shouting at clouds? No, thank you. I'd rather leave all that crap at the door. Sit down at this coffee table and talk comic books with you for a couple of minutes a day. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. We've been talking X-Men, and I love the X-Men. I usually do love the X-Men. I would love to love the X-Men more today. Reading X-Men. I would love to be reading X-Men monthly. It's just not worth it. Yeah, it's, and that's all I got to say right now. Thank you so very much for tuning in. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. We will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. And please like and subscribe. I hope I've earned your subscription. Just click on that button and turn on those notifications. 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily. We talk about comic books. Thank you so much. Sorry about the runtime on this. This got away from me. I didn't. I was thinking, geez, what are you shooting today? You're surrounded by these comic books. You're going to trip over them and crack your head. Ugh. Wow, I'm being mugged. Pika, I choose you.